Hey guys, it's Katie. I am recording a video to talk a little bit more about integration with new dogs in the home environment. So a while back I made a picture post essentially when I was doing a board and train with Star and Dodger, and talking about how sometimes it's more important to focus on duration behavior instead of play when it comes to having multiple dogs, particularly in a small space. So I have a couple more board and trains that I'm going to talk to you guys about. So I've got Jovi and Marley, who are golden retrievers. And so from an integration standpoint, what I want to talk about is how when you are introducing new dogs into the environment, sometimes it's more important to focus on everyone being calm rather than everyone trying to play. So right here I've got Jovi, and over here I have Marley. So we're working on just being on place for a little while. So they got here at 2 o'clock and it's now 2:35. So they've been on place since they got here, minus the getting everything squared away and making sure that I knew what was what and all that fun stuff. So I could potentially have just let the dogs go to town and play and do all that stuff. But what it does is it undermines the need for the dogs that already existed in the environment to maintain order. So if I focus more on them going out of control rather than being in control, they learn that every time that the environment changes, that there is a need for lack of control. So when I integrate new dogs into the environment, whether it's a permanent integration or a temporary integration, the main focus is always about making sure that all the dogs feel under control and that the dogs feel calm and that they feel that they're being advocated for in their own personal space. So I'll just show you. So here's Willow and here is Lyra. So again, they've been on place for about 35 minutes. It's not like it's a detrimental amount of time to the average dog. Duration behavior helps the dog to learn to calm better. So the longer that they can hold on to a behavior and the longer that the dogs can maintain their composure around each other, the less chance that a fight escalates or breaks out when we're talking about being in an enclosed space. So my house has a lot of bottleneck points. So what that means is that there's narrow spaces, which means that if dogs are going past each other, they're pretty much right on top of each other. And my main floor is just a circular pattern. So there's a lot of bottleneck points because there's narrow doorways, there's couches, there's furniture. And so when the dogs are in the space moving around with each other, there's certain points where tension is very likely to occur if the dogs don't feel like they have control of their faculties. So it is very important when you introduce a new dog, it's not just about play. Sometimes it's more about teaching the dogs that they can be safe around each other, they can learn around each other, they can feel confident that their personal space will be taken care of, and that there is more reward for being calm than there is for being so hyped up that there's no ability to focus. So for instance, if I am just gonna let the dogs go to town right now, it's not because of the fact that I feel like they absolutely have to play, because play is not a necessity for dogs to function. So if you look at dogs in a situation where the dogs are well acquainted with each other, they're not always playing. So when I have Lyra and Willow just off by themselves, they don't have a biological need to play. Now, when I have 4 dogs together, if there's no control, the biological need is for adrenaline to escalate. So play is basically just a form of escalation of adrenaline. So again, when you're introducing a new dog to the environment, it's more about teaching all of the dogs in the environment that their personal space will always be respected. And so, again, you'll notice that the dogs are not discontent in my house. They're just relaxing, and relaxing is very good for them. Relaxing helps them to feel happy. It helps them to feel at ease. It helps them to feel in control. When you've got dogs that don't feel confident, the ability to relax is so important. If you've got dogs that tend to not be able to calm down quickly, so like Willow being a puppy, if she's just left to her own devices, she would choose to play 24/7. That does not help the bond that I have with her. It also doesn't help the bond that I have with 4 dogs. So when I've got 4 dogs, if I don't have control of each of those dogs, I run the risk of getting injured. I run the risk of the dogs injuring themselves. I run the risk of the dogs injuring each other. I run the risk of the dogs injuring other people. So it's very, very important when I bring any new dog around my personal dogs that they feel a sense of consistency about what can be expected. So what's expected when new dogs are around my dogs, whether they know them or not, is that they're not released to play unless all of the dogs are feeling in control of themselves and in control of their impulses. Because impulse control can be a very, very fine thread with a dog, because instinctive behavior is self-rewarding. So you have to make the ability to be calm self-rewarding, but it's not self-rewarding if you don't enforce that it has to happen at some point. So anyways, that's all I was going to talk about for this particular video. If you have questions, feel free to comment, message, email, or text. Anyways, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.